give us a little background on your feelings of whether or not ghosts exist?
Yes. I am not willing to say they don't. My experience is I've never seen any evidence of it. But it'd just be arrogance to presume that they don't exist. Okay, so that's my perspective on it. They could exist.
Now, with all these movies and television programs popping up all the time, has it ever made you curious as to whether there's any truth to the paranormal, that are known as ghost hunting?
The movies on TV and that don't do that for me. I love ghost movies. They're I think they're my favorite, next to time travel. But they have never done anything like sort of sway me. What sways me is my people I know and care about, who I trust dearly, who say that they have experienced the paranormal. That sways me. That's why I come to the position that I'm not discounting it. I just don't have experience of it that I'm aware of. So I like the movies.
Have you ever seen any of the ghost hunters or ghost adventurers on TV?
I have. I've watched them on occasion, and I'm not really sure. You know, when they're doing their thing, they're always scared. Oh my God! You know, and the camera will move, and everybody will have the color, the night lens, so their eyes look black and scary, and a lot of special effects, it seems to me. And but what I don't ever see, of course, maybe I haven't watched them enough, is them coming up with any kind of evidence that it exists. Because that's what they're looking for, is evidence. My thinking is, by their nature, you won't get evidence because they're extra sensory. They're beyond our sensation, unless we've come up with some ways of detecting beyond human range, which we can do now. But I don't know that I've seen them convince me that they're there. But I think it's cool that they go out to all the places that have the reputations.
With YouTube and everything, there's people on there doing live shows of them ghost hunting.
Never seen anything like that. That could be fun. I'm wanting to see it.
It's on YouTube. I can give you the dates and times.
You'll have to give me some of that stuff. I'll look.
When someone talks about a time that they thought something paranormal had happened to them, what is normally your thought on the matter?
Well, my first reaction is I absolutely trust that they saw or heard, felt, whatever they saw, heard, or felt. I don't doubt that, because I think they probably did. My second reaction would be the scientific one, saying, well, there might be a good reason for it. You know, maybe they're drinking too much, or maybe, there's something they willed themselves to see. And my third reaction would be, that's not fair. I just don't know. So I kind of run through the gamut, but I do put in the science piece. Because, I would want to look for a rational explanation, because that's what I've been trained to do. But I'm always willing to go beyond that.
Do you think it is actually in the mind of the beholder? Some people believe in it so much they will almost make themselves believe it.
I think that could happen. I know that does happen. Not just in regard to ghosts, but I've done psychotherapy in the past, and I know that people are capable of construing a reality, and then altering their understanding of that. And so I know that that's something they do. So if you really, really wanted to see somebody that you loved who just died, perhaps you could do that, whether it was real or not, whether it was a ghost or not. You just sort of, it's like a mental placebo. I can say the closest perhaps I've ever gotten to that a ghost or something like that was after my father-in-law died, and he manufactured paint, and he owned this paint manufacturing company and the store that he sold it in, and there are very distinctive smells connected to paint manufacturing. They were always connected to him because that's what he did all the time. And after he died, and he was a pretty important guy to me. After he died, I would be alone driving, and I get this sensation of paint. I mean, you're inside of a car, there's no reason for it to happen. That is not a smell that you would normally get in a car. And I would get it, especially feeling a certain way, kind of down or whatnot, and you get this, he's here. Now, I don't know how I never saw that as a ghost. I don't know what I thought of it as, but it was an olfactory sensation. And so it could have been me needing that, just knowing that he's somehow around, or it could be not. I'm still stuck. I really don't know. But that's pretty close for me. It's about as close as I've gotten to a ghost.
Sure.
Paranoid.
Have you ever been in a supposedly haunted location? Have any odd things happen that you couldn't rationally explain?
No, to my knowledge, other than what I just, my car was in a haunted location, but to my knowledge, I've never been in that kind of a situation. I've been in places that were supposedly haunted, but virtually no sensations whatsoever. Therein lies our problem, is that we're always saying sensation. You and I have talked, I believe that whatever this is, a ghost we'll call him, is generally extrasensory. It's beyond the human sensation limits, or else we'd see him all the time and have him under microscopes all the time. And that doesn't bother me at all, that whatever happens to us outside of this life is beyond sensory abilities to pick it up. That doesn't bother me at all. It seems like that's a reasonable thing. Consciousness. We know we have consciousness. I don't know of a single scientist who could dissect the brain and say, there it is. So, that's sort of beyond the five senses. So to believe something could, like ghosts, yeah, I believe that could happen. I don't know what the question is anymore, but no, I haven't been in an area where I think that happened to me.
As a child, did you ever feel you believed in ghosts or things paranormal?
Yes, I did. There were things that would scare me, but I wasn't obsessed about it. But in the dark, of course, a room, even a familiar room, in the dark I'd be a little scared. Since then I thought, if I encountered a ghost, especially a ghost of someone that I knew, more power to it. I would love to see this. I wouldn't be scared, because I love these people in the past, why would I be afraid of them now? You know, I think it would be just a really cool thing to encounter someone that I knew. And I tried and tried when I was in my 20s or 30s, I guess. Hoped that I would look in the back seat through the mirror, rearview mirror of the car, and see my friend Tom sitting there smiling at me, because I know exactly what he'd look like. He never did it, damn it. I just thought, if anybody's going to pull this off, it'll be him. But he never did it. So, yeah.
Theory is that as we get older, we are conditioned to believe they don't exist. What is your take on this theory?
Well, it's a naive scientific approach. Modernists are arrogant people. A modernist is a scientist, and they believe that if they can't record the experience, if they can't dissect an experience, it doesn't exist. And we all were trained, to the person in the U.S., we are all trained to be modernists, to be cynics, to be skeptics, to apply the scientific method. And that's fine. It does good work for us in some places, but it was so limiting, and it closed our abilities to think beyond the box, if you will, because there is something beyond the box, likely, but it isn't sentient, and it can't maybe be recorded. And so I wonder about our recording devices and whatnot. But nevertheless, I think that modernist training stays with us, and people claim it as they get older. Oh no, I don't believe in this. But my experience is, it doesn't matter how old the person is. If I can isolate them and just sit and talk about ghosts, they'll all tell me stories. But they won't claim that they believe in them unless they're feeling really safe. And the person they're telling the story to isn't going to think they've lost their marbles. So I'm skeptical that as you get older, you get less inclined to believe. But I think your training, your modernist training, just sort of kind of tells you how you should react to all that. Oh no, I don't believe it. Maybe they do.
Theory is that we also block out the possibility because of fear. What will your thought be on that subject?
Well, the ghosts that I would hope to find, I wouldn't be afraid of. The ghosts that, maybe if I don't know, if I went to some place where people were being beheaded and whatnot, I guess I just was at one of those places, where they're angry spirits, if there is such a thing. Maybe I'd be afraid. At very unfamiliar surroundings, the right kind of surroundings, I might be afraid. But that's probably because of those movies, all these crazy horror movies, which I tend not to watch. I like to watch ghost movies, but not violent, nasty things. So, and the other thing I think about being afraid is that something that is beyond sensation, beyond the molecular level, likely couldn't do anything to you anyway. You see the ghosts trying to hit you and they can't do it. I sort of think that might be, if there are ghosts, that might be their situation, because they're not.
For some of them, or all of them?
I don't know. I couldn't imagine how, unless you can somehow, a consciousness can reanimate. Now we're getting into, second lives, third lives, that kind of thing. Otherwise, I think if you're a ghost, you're a ghost. If you're reanimated somehow, then that could be a little scary.
like sometimes people get scratched, things like that. What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
yeah, I don't know. I don't see how that could happen, but I'd have to have someone explain that to me, what their theory is on how something that is not physical can react physically. I'm waiting for a better explanation.
Okay.
The modernist in me.
When you hear the word paranormal, what does it make you think of?
For me, it's exciting because it's post-normal. It's beyond normal. It's beyond sentient, and I absolutely believe there's a lot beyond our sentient abilities. I mean, we see this much of what we can see. We smell this much of what can be smelled. We hear this much of what can be heard and felt, etc. There's no question that we don't get it all. We don't sense it all. It's, you'd be the most arrogant, naive person to say, only we, if I can't see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, and feel it, it doesn't exist. That's just crazy. Paranormal is suggesting that it's something beyond the pale, beyond our abilities. You have to believe that, unless you're just super arrogant. My concern is I haven't experienced it, but I believe it. Okay, I absolutely believe there's something beyond. My experience of it, I don't have. And that's probably because I've limited myself too much. Or there's a sense that humans may have once had that we hardly have anymore, and that I don't have much of, or I've never trained it. But I think perhaps if there's a sixth sense, it probably could be trained to be used more. Once again, my concern about anything beyond the sentient being the five senses, we wouldn't have words for it. Because our words are all sentient-oriented words. And so our explanation of the beyond would be all sentient-oriented, which is that's the part that gets in the way. That's why you can't prove what you're wanting to prove, because you're using the wrong language. And we don't yet have language for something beyond the sentient levels. I mean, all our language, I can say the word red, but I can't. There's no word for something else that's happening in this room right now that I can't detect. We invented the words.
All right. Some people associate everything from aliens to ghosts to witchcraft as the paranormal. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I guess, are there aliens? Yeah. Are they here? Probably not. But, if they were, that'd be kind of cool. Probably they would not be, if we could see aliens, we'd no longer call them paranormal. Well, maybe we would, I guess. I don't know. But yes, number one, I believe in life beyond the solar system. Once again, even the scientists say that would be crazy not to. Too many chances. Two, I don't believe they came here. I don't think they built the pyramids. I don't think they built big crude pictures in the ground that you can only see from space. And all that wonderful stuff that people will take away from humans and want to give to aliens. I don't buy that bullshit, but I do believe that there's something out there. Now let's see, the rest of that question, I forgot what it was. Got hung up on the aliens.
It's like aliens to ghosts to witchcraft.
Witchcraft, well, there's a lot of people who believe it. who are witches, but they tend not to do the TV thing, you know, where they can do magical stuff. I mean, I think if you were to talk to witches, they're just normal people who believe they have a different belief set. Ghosts, of course, you know, I'm still the jury in my head. I'll wait until something clobbers me, and I probably won't be surprised when I meet a ghost. So, yeah, call it paranormal. Extrasensory is what I would prefer to the way I prefer to speak of it. I can live with that more easily.
What are your thoughts on the afterlife?
Oh God, that's a great question. Well, I tried when I was a religious guy to really believe in heaven. It just, once again, it's like ghosts. I don't have any evidence of it. And the religious community is more wishful thinkers than it is, you know, reliant on their scripture when it comes to heaven. It's not a very big issue, especially for Christians. They've just made it bigger than it should have been. So in terms of heaven, I'd love to have one. God knows I'd love to have one. However, what I do tend to believe is this whole business of consciousness, like all other elements of existence, can't go away. Conservation of energy, conservation of matter. In either case, you can't get rid of energy. It just changes its form. You can't get rid of matter, it just changes its form. Therefore, my consciousness may continue. You know, that would be the ghosts, I guess. In what form? Would it be conscious in the way it used to? Would it become part of a larger consciousness? Would it just be a different form of energy and I lose that? I don't know what's going to happen. But that's where I'm at now with this. Now, these consciousness studies that are out there have some interesting possibilities to them. And then there'll be a scientist sooner or later who says, yeah, I know exactly what consciousness is, these neurons in that part of the brain, and, you know, snip them out and it's gone. I don't know. Just because the body's dead doesn't mean that the consciousness is gone. I know when I used to work with the dead, we'd talk to them. You know, autopsies and funerals and, you know, just what else, and what other ways did I work with the dead? Well, when I worked in the hospital, I was a palliative care giver, and that's giving care without the expectation of cures with a number of people when they died. And that's where I heard a lot of ghost stories. Nurses can tell you tons of ghost stories. It's amazing places. At any rate, yeah, I would talk to the person because who am I to assume they're gone? The body ain't working, that's for damn sure. And I've taken bodies apart. They don't show any evidence of being in pain. But the consciousness, that could very well be there. When we did autopsies, we were always respectful. You know, I know the guys that did the autopsies. When we were not doing autopsies, we were not always the most respectable people, you know, but when we were in that room, and that's sort of like maybe the other person's there. I don't know. I've been around a lot of death. I've done funerals, and as I've held hands of people as they died. Quite a few, actually. And I've done autopsies. I've done, I've been with people as they were dying, and the funerals after their death. I was involved with a lot of death at one time. Not so much anymore. It gets old. Wears on you.
So there's a theory of spirits or ghosts being from a different dimension. That to them we are ghosts and spirits, and that they are just living their lives. Any thoughts on this theory?
Yeah. I mean, the first way a person of science would react to that is to talk about multiple dimensions, multiple universes, which physicists believe, many physicists will believe, must exist. That you and I, if we, just by having this conversation, a new universe has happened, and a whole new set of history, and a whole new set of situations with different results than the one that we're currently in. And that these universes can't relate to each other. That's impossible. But what you're suggesting is that a ghost, you seeing a ghost, is looking at another dimension. They seeing a ghost, you, they're seeing you in another dimension, perhaps. Or maybe we're just crossing through and around each other all the time and don't even know it. You know, these are the parallel universes. That's good stuff. It's fun to read. The physicists are pretty clear about it. Pretty much has to exist. And therein lies the real possibility for what we call ghosts. Maybe there actually is a way to interface with something else that's happening in the same time and place. Could be another whole universe where we're talking. Except you'd be the professor and I'd be the student, who knows? Yeah, that's my answer to that.
I'd like to show you a couple video clips. The first one with the shadow figure, what are your thoughts on that, to be completely honest?
That one I liked. I liked that there's something there. Whether it was a rat running in front of a light or something, I don't know, but it was clearly something that happened, which was kind of cool. I enjoyed that. And that they were wearing a dress, I don't know, man. They would have to, they'd have to really slow that down so we could see it, which, you know, we could have done perhaps. But I enjoyed that one. I don't know how. You know, it's a physical phenomenon for me, and of some sort. That it's apparently not something that they can explain. I can live with that. There may be an easy explanation for all I know. Something did happen to the camera. I don't know whether the two are connected. Then they don't either. Now the second one, is that what you want to ask me about that?
Yeah, the haunted doll and the live.
The second one, I'm a real skeptic about, because first of all, I'm not really sure why a doll animated by some spirit would only do that. If the doll could move its arms, I can imagine it would want to do that in a different way, at a different time. And my cynicism is that as he's monkeying around and leaning over with his arms out of the picture, and the doll's moving, it almost seems as though his right shoulder was also moving, and like he was running something, you know, a mechanical arm on the doll or something. You know, that, I mean, that, I would have to look at the doll and say, yeah, this doll doesn't have any mechanics to it. And then there would be something to it. And that's sort of what he would have to do if he were going to explain this in a way that suggests that there actually was an animated doll. Animated as in spirit animated. He needs to take the doll apart and show that there's nothing in the doll and nothing behind the doll that's doing anything, which he doesn't do, but that's the cynical part of me would say, gotta do that first before I'm willing to go much further with that one. No, I mean, I love this stuff. I think it's fun. I hope you can bring in some stuff that helps me to be, get on board. I think it would be fun. It's something I could do in my retirement.
Sure.
But you gotta help me become a believer. But I'm not an unbeliever. I'm just I'm a cynic, a skeptic that's willing to go in favor of it. A modernist on the verge of postmodernism. I can live with it. Maybe you'll show me some more.
Okay. Well,
Okay?
on behalf of Upstate Supernatural, I'd like to thank you for your time.
Well, keep looking and keep talking to me. I think it's fun.